Will Hammock and Todd Klein back with you on GPR. Just a reminder to join us online at GwinnettPrepRally.com for the world-famous message board and video highlights. You can also keep up with GPR on Twitter and our Facebook fan page, so be sure to give us a like. Well, the Norcross Blue Devils have looked like a dominant offense at times this season, putting up over 35 points per game. And one of the main reasons for their success has been the play of senior wide receiver Jason Croom.
Tonight's team leader is presented by Breda Pest Management.
I move like a little man. I can pretty much do everything smaller receivers can do, but with a bigger body.
And that's why he's been sought out by the top-tier programs in college football. Jason Croom is a man amongst boys at wide receiver for Norcross, and with his 6'5" frame, he's the kind of physical receiver that can flourish at the next level.
Jason's a big wide receiver. He's 6'5", 220 pounds. He's very physical. He can run the possession routes, he can run the short routes, and he can also go deep on people.
That speed has also been on display on the hardwood, where Jason was a part of the Blue Devils state title run last year, but he's figured out that football is his path to the next level and hopes to take what he's learned on the court and bring it to the football field.
I seen what it took to get a state championship in basketball, so I was like, I try to take the same leadership and roles I played and taking my leadership on the field. Just keep everybody up and positive.
I think people, as big kids come into high school, they always push them towards basketball, but once they figure out that being 6'5" in football is pretty special, and 6'5" in basketball is average at best nowadays, that there's a better path for a big physical kid like that in football.
And that was definitely the case for Jason, who had offers from all over the country, but it was 2 universities that piqued his interest. And in the end, it was the Volunteers that had everything he wanted.
Tennessee, they're building on a new facility. When I get there, my surroundings are gonna be better. I got to meet some of the players. They were cool. And then the receivers coach, like the position I'll be playing, he stuck out to me because he's an experienced coach, so he got to work with great receivers like Randy Moss, Chris Carter.
Usually you get a good receiver, he's got one strength. Jason's got all. He's got it all. He can catch, he can run, and he can block.
Well, our special thanks to Breda Pest Management for bringing us that feature. And Will, we look at Jason Croom, you see that he's a very good-looking athlete there, very big, strong kid, and I think you think his best days are still ahead of him.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of work to do as far as playing at the receiver position. I think he can improve there, and you also look at him, he's a 6'5" kid, 220 plus. He's really a lot like Jared Cook that used to play at North Gwinnett that's now in the NFL. He could be that kind of tight end, big slot kind of receiver, but he's got a definitely unlimited potential because he's so big, so fast, and he's also a very good blocker because he's so big and strong.
Time now for Will's World. We put 60 seconds on the clock. We get in the mind of our very own Will Hammock, and it's brought to you by Next Star Communication.
It's a college football edition this week. Kyle Karimplis, who thought he would get on the field at UGA as a true freshman, but he did. Scored a touchdown this past weekend and even got a lift from his old buddy at Wesley, and David Andrews also got in on that game and blocked for his touchdown run. But great for Kyle. He had a chance to go some smaller places, ended up wanting to go to Georgia with his buddies, and it paid off. He got to play right away as a true freshman. Another guy we saw stand out last year, Taylor Heineke over at Collins Hill. He's doing a great job at Old Dominion. They thought he was going to redshirt this year, 3 or 4 games into the season, but he was just too good in practice. They had to play him. Since he's been averaging 300 passing yards a game. He still runs it pretty well. Just doing great things at Old Dominion. I think you'll see him being a 4-year starter, putting up a lot of record numbers up there. Another Gwinnett grad who played up at Buford, Dallas Lee. He's joined in the lineup over there with Kyle Karimplis, but he's had to sit out the last part of this year, which is sad to see because Dallas was having a breakout year. He's doing really well, starting at offensive guard for the Bulldogs, but he broke his leg. He's going to have to miss the rest of the regular season. It'd be nice to see him back in the lineup because I know he's worked hard to get to this point, and he's a big part of that UGA offensive line.
Well, Will, we looked there. 2 of the people you mentioned were up at UGA, but I want to talk about Taylor Heineke and the fact that you can go to a little bit smaller college and find your niche. I think he found a perfect place for him, and like you said, he's getting a chance to play right away, and he's showing really what he did in high school, that he's taking that to the college level.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he had a senior quarterback up there that he was expected to be behind and almost immediately bumped him out of the lineup. So he's got a lot of talent. He's a guy in the recruiting process that could have gone to a lot of different places. Some bigger schools got onto him late, and some more well-known 1AA schools came on. But really, Old Dominion was a school that was with him there all along. He had a good feeling about those guys, and right now it's paying off. He's doing great up there.
Time now to focus on standout performances. So let's move on to this week's Building Blocks, presented by Britt's Home Furnishing. And first up is Rick Legrant from Buford.
He's an excellent player, really fast, also a very good defensive player, has been the last few years for the Wolves at defensive end, but he's a guy that's just an excellent athlete. I think at the next level he can play any number of positions. You see him running the ball here, but definitely a great, I think maybe not a defensive end, more of a linebacker at the college level, but he's a guy that runs so well, they're going to find a spot for him on the football field. Big part of that Buford success.
And we talked earlier about this North Gwinnett running game. Donnie Miles, a big reason for that.
Yeah, he's one half of that great running back tandem they have up there. Donnie Miles, very elusive kid, and he pairs up well with Joe Jones. He's an excellent running back. He really gets the job done. Big part of North Gwinnett winning that region championship this year.
And then we go over to GAC. Obviously, they're disappointed that their season has been cut short this year, but Lavondre Nelson had an amazing game against Lovett.
Yeah, there's a lot of offensive talent over there at GAC. Spencer's a great quarterback, but I think Lavondre Nelson, he was really their go-to guy on offense this year. Really turned into a workout freak since the new coaching staff got there. We got really strong, really fast. 18 carries, 160 yards, a couple of touchdowns against Lovett, and I really think he's a guy that's going to be an excellent college football player. He's qualified, and he's going to help somebody out a lot.
Well, thanks to Britt's Home Furnishing for sponsoring that segment, Will. Obviously, those were a lot of good performances there. Who else played well last week that we should mention?
From Parkview High School, I know it was in a losing effort against Decula, but Jordan Reed just had a highlight film type of game. I know he had a great game against Brookwood, had a couple of good touchdown catches, but a 6'3", 190-pound receiver with speed. He just made all sorts of highlight plays. He's got a lot more college interest lately. I think he's going to be a Division I receiver before it's all said and done.
Time now for Will to channel his inner Swami as we take a look at the first-round playoff matchups in Gwinnett County. It's brought to you by Tommy Lee Carpets. We call it Beat the Post. We'll give you a chance to do exactly that. We start off with the playoff edition, Will. Temple at Buford, and this is Temple High School, I think, not Temple University.
Yeah, I think they could probably play either Temple and beat them right now. Buford's just rolling, a very good football team, so you got to go with the Wolves.
And then we move on to the Gwinnett first-round matchups. Collins Hill has to play at Grayson.
Yeah, Collinsville would like to make this a close game. I just think Grayson's too good on defense, too overpowering on offense, and I think the Rams will win. And
we have a little bit of a rematch here. Norcross at Decula in another Gwinnett County team. Who gets the win here, Will?
Yeah, Norcross really had the better play of this one in the first time around. I think it's going to be a lot closer this time. I think Decula's really going to give them a battle, but I think Norcross just has too much talent and they'll win the game.
Archer in the playoffs for the first time in school history, but they have to go play at a very stout North Gwinnett school.
Yeah, probably the toughest call they could have got there in the first round. Archer's got a tough test against North Gwinnett. North Gwinnett's just been playing great football since the opener, and I like the Bulldogs.
And then a really interesting matchup. We have Brookwood, number 3 in their region, going on the road playing at Peachtree Ridge, the defending state champions. Do they get a first-round win, or do they go home early, Will?
I knew the 2-3 games were going to be interesting. This is probably the most interesting of them. Peachtree Ridge has had a great season, kind of surprised some people to come out of nowhere. Brookwood, the defending state champs, but I think the Broncos are going to pull out a close one here.
Well, thank you to Tommy Lee Carpets for their continued support of Gwinnett Prep Rally. All right, we're out of time, but please join us next week for more highlights and features on Gwinnett Prep Rally every Tuesday through Friday right here on GCPS TV. You can go to GwinnettPrepRally.com for all the scheduling details. For Will Hammock and all of us here at GPR, I'm Todd Klein. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you under the lights.
Grab some wood there, bub.